I finally have my copy of Alien, the illustrated story. I don't remember where I bought the novelization back in 1979. Maybe in a Kmart. Yes, I said Kmart. More likely in a mall bookstore. Does anyone else remember Walden Books? No? Though I do recall expanded universe type novels, for whatever reason I never forked over any money for them. Sort of regretted it. But I never remembered a graphic novel published in 1979. Having lived in a pretty rural community, I wouldn't have known where to look outside of Kroger. I am not a comic book guy. I can only tell you what I look for that captures my attention and makes me feel I was entertained as a big fan of Alien. The characters. Because I want to see something creative, I'm not wanting a book of screenshots from the film. I want the characters to look similar, true, but not exact. I want the illustration to have some room, to add to the lore or have its own take. For the most part, the 7 crew of the Nostromo are drawn relatable to the real-life actor film counterparts. Although Lambert looks a little wonky at times, switching between demure and almost elderly looking. Ash is posed like an NFL linebacker, short and stocky, which may be a clue of his secret speed and strength. You'll see Ash posed strangely alone and isolated from others, which I hoped was another deliberate clue. The personalities are in line with the film. The illustrated Kane can't capture the nuances of John Hurt. The same could be said of Ash, that couldn't show the quirks performed by Ian Holm, nor the frantic emotions of Veronica Cartwright as Lambert. However, it did capture Ripley's ascension from a side character early to being in command and lone survivor. Likewise, Dallas's demeanor, as well as Parker and Brett, was faithful to the film. It's almost unfair to look to the illustrated characters for the same emotions we have for the films. The Nostromo. Does the illustrated story capture the look and feel of the Nostromo, specifically the claustrophobic and lived-in atmosphere? While it can't rely on lighting effects and practical set design, it does have tight shots depicting characters traversing narrow corridors into small rooms, almost one person too small to fit the crew. It's a pretty efficient graphic novel, and it's not going to spend many panels on establishing shots. It won't show background sets that piques your curiosity. It does offer something the film does not, and that's artistically depicting travels through hyperspace. The Xenomorph. The star of the illustrated story is certainly the alien Xenomorph. It is drawn larger than life. It's capturing the physical proportions to scale as much as representing the overwhelming emotional fear it invokes. From the chest burster to its full-grown version, it's mechanical, insect-like, and very strange, in a terrifying way. Equally impressive with its visual presentation is the Facehugger. Highlights. The illustrated story is very clever, plans ahead, and gives the reader a somewhat cinematic experience turning the page. Often, you'll get an impressive oversized panel on the far left when you flip pages. The derelict ship, the space jockey, the chest burster, the xenomorph's appearances, they all pop out at you. One of the best examples building up suspense was when Dallas ventures into the ducts. 4 pages are dedicated to that. Dallas's final panel is a frame from a nightmare, giving us another point of view, another angle, a drawing that lasts forever of Dallas's last moment. We see the xenomorph size, dwarfing the poor captain. The emotional gut punch for me was the final panel of Parker and Lambert. What you see in the illustration is what we get from the movie, with the exception of the tail between Lambert's feet. That was filmed as Brett's and shown in the graphic novel as such. Parker was a favorite character of mine, and to see him lying there, eyes open, with his life extinguished, was very saddening. Critiques. Not really a complaint, But the reprint of Mother's computer console is a little difficult to read. It's a little blurry, not enough contrast between the characters and the background, not to mention the typeface. The storytelling is very efficient, as said earlier. Some important events are captured in a few short number of panels, and it moves on. Admittingly, I'm still hung up on why there's only one panel of the space jockey and 5 dedicated to Kane making coffee. Many scenes with building tension in the film are run through quickly in the illustration, but I will add, the graphic novel invested well into Kane's recovery through his final supper and the aforementioned Dallas's hunt for the Xenomorph in the air ducts. Conclusions. It's unfair, but there's no other option but to compare my thoughts of reading the novelization in 1979 to the illustration read present day. Had I had Alien, the illustrated story back then, I would have kept this under my pillow, reading this every evening until the VHS was commercially available. Guess what? I have that too. Because I did not, I cannot say I gravitated to the graphic novel today as I did the novelization then. The novelization had such an impact on me, I lost track what was and what was not in the movie. I saw the director's cut in my head long before it was released to the public. Having said that, this is a must-have for fans, not just as a collector's item, but for its additional lore, some expanded from the novelization and others new altogether. If I had to reach deep for any detracting thoughts, I would say this does not replace the film if you're the type that loves graphic novels but hate movies. It is a good companion to the novelization as I reread many passages from the book, researching the plot points in the illustration. Because it uses elements from deleted scenes, the director's cut, points mentioned in the book taken from early drafts of the screenplay but never filmed, we get a new version of the story. It's more than simply hand drawing frames from the movie and sticking it into a book. We get something unique. That's my review of Alien, the illustrated story. If you're interested in the differences from the film, you can check out part 1 right here.